So we're going to be looking at E B DuBois, double consciousness, and some of the concepts in his 1903 On the Soul of Black Folks. So some of the important readings for this particular set of videos is Chapter 1 of On the Souls of Black Folks, of Our Spiritual Strivings. That's the whole book is on Canvas in a PDF form, but that's just the first 14 pages of the book, or a little less actually. Then there's Mark Black, Fanonian and DuBoisian Double Consciousness. The first 3 pages of that essay, you can skip the Fanon portions because the last 4 or 5 pages talks about Fanon and Blackskin's white mass that we're not going to get a chance to look at this semester because of time constraints. You can also look over Lewis Gordon's What Does It Mean to Be a Problem on E B DuBois. Some of that stuff will come up more in the next module on SART. So some of the important text in this kind of context, kind of carrying on from what we saw in Module 4 from Frederick Douglass in the 1800s, we have E B DuBois On the Souls of Black Folks in 1903, and then also in the context of the Harlem Renaissance and sort of continued conversations about ideas like double consciousness that DuBois articulates. We have Ralph Ellison's novel Invisible Man, 1952, which itself, even just in framing the title itself, articulates a kind of notion of double consciousness that we'll come to. Also Richard Wright's Native Son in 1940, and Richard Wright's autobiographical text Black Boy, 1945, and then also in the kind of same time, Frantz Fanon's Blackskin's White Mass in 1952, that we're not going to cover. Richard Wright's novels Native Son and Black Boy will come up in particular, referenced several times in the Mark Black essay. So in this essay, Fanonian and DuBoisian Double Consciousness by Mark Black, he talks about a shared framework of African American and people of color more generally, and colonized people in this side of experience of double consciousness. So double consciousness is what kind of creates a shared framework for people of color, African Americans in particular in the United States, but also kind of colonized people as a whole, right? It illuminates the oppressive context of whiteness in the U.S. and abroad now and in the past, the oppressive nature of double consciousness and how that is created and framed, part of the nature of oppression in a broad sense, not just localized history. So DuBois defines double consciousness in the first chapter of On the Souls of Black Folks. It's on page 394 in the Black essay and page 8 on the Souls of Black Folks. This is a famous passage in American literature that talks about this concept of double consciousness sort of for the first time in this kind of way, at least. After the Egyptian and the Indian, the Greek and the Roman, the Teuton and the Mongolian, the Negro is a sort of seventh son, born with a veil and gifted with second sight in this American world, a world which yields him no true self-consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the relation of the other world. It is a particular sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of the others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in an amused contempt and pity. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body whose dogged strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder.